All right. This is the introduction about international finance course. Third part of my lecture in the first week. Yeah, I'm a talkative guy. Introduction is still there. Yeah, I know. We talked about JP Morgan, right? Currently a big figure inside Korea in M&A market, the top in the league table, right? But JP Morgan has been the biggest bank in America, especially more than 100 years ago, 150 or 160 years ago. And any of you watch the current War, the movie? Watch it, right? Not just because Doctor Strange is over there. He shows up, he plays as a what? Edison, Thomas Edison. Not just because there's Tesla coming in. It's a very interesting from the perspective of this banker's role as well, and then the technological innovation, and then how they are the industry standard, how is it set, right? AC versus DC kind of things, and then Tesla plus Westinghouse, AC group, and then Edison in DC group, direct current kind of things, right? And then who is backing up the Edison? That's JP Morgan, right? JP Morgan, he actually, the real figure looked like this, right? The cap, right? And then that's exactly like this. And with this figure, with the staff like this, Monopoly game was created based on this figure. Iconic figure 150 years ago, right? We're gonna talk about it a lot later. JP Morgan was a big figure over there, and essentially they were instrumental in creating the General Electric, right? General Electric, which had been one of the biggest corporations in the world, right? In the world, based on these guys, right? But not just that, right? We had some competitors over there. Very interesting movie. I strongly suggest you to watch it, right, in your free time. And then JP Morgan nowadays, the CEO is Jamie Dimon, right? You see it. I hope many of you, okay, or some of you will be a bigger guy than, you know, these guys in the world. Good luck, right? Okay, so that's that. Talking about global M&As and then global banking and foreign bankings, right? Rothschild should be always remembered, right? This is Nathan Meyer Rothschild, who worked in London before, okay, in Britain. And the Rothschild's emblem looked like this. And then nowadays they shrank, okay, in size. And then their power also shrank very much. But 200 years ago, they were de facto the world's banker, okay? And then how they became rich by working for this kind of, you know, noble families, and then the monarchs, right, are shown, depicted in some different pictures. But the starting point of this Rothschild family, right, his father, Meyer Amschel Rothschild, right, his business was FX, was changing the coins of 200 different countries' coins, right? Changing the currencies between Korean won and US dollar is already complicated, but imagine yourself doing that for 200 different countries, right? Good luck. And then old coins as well. God. That was their job. FX is an important part of banking business, international banking. Deutsche Bank was the one was solely created for the purpose of trade finance. The German people, right? They had no nation state before 1871. They had a lot of great manufacturing, you know, businesses here and there. You know, think about Daimler-Benz or, you know, all these kind of, you know, engineers working there. They could export a lot of their good products outside. But exporting involves financing, and then who is gonna do that trade finance? Not many, right? You need some banking network who should be able to help you out. But German people did not have that. Why? Because the country, they were split into 200 different countries. Okay, it was nobody's business, right? So that's why these guys were, off the top of my head, I just forgot his name, but they created Deutsche Bank, right, in 1871, exactly the year of the, you know, Preußen or this the German country, Bismarck, right, took over that important position. So trade finance has been very important job. Okay, key positions, right? Also, when it comes to international banking, you should not forget about this Warburg family, right? UBS Warburg. Some of you, I mean, our SKKU graduates are working for UBS in Seoul branch, and then SBC Warburg was the predecessor, and then this guy was the SBC Sigmund Warburg, right? Who was working for it. We created this one in London, and then before that, like 200 years ago, right? They were, banking dynasty in Mittelweg, Germany, right? And then very important figure is Paul Warburg, right? He has such a great influence in creating U.S. Federal Reserve System. Okay, not just in Germany, but their influence goes into the U.S., right, across Atlantic, right? That involves a lot of bankings and then FX related talks, right? There's very, very interesting field, international finance. Yeah, many of the big names in global banking industry started their businesses by exchanging coins of different countries to support cross-border transactions of the kings, governments, corporations, and individuals, right? Likewise, foreign exchange and managing currency risk have been one of the core functions in banking. Really, really sexy job, okay? The heart of the banking business, right? US dollar, Korean won, just to give you a snapshot of today. Yeah, it looks like this, 1106.06 Korean won per US dollar, right? You can see this kind of things in investing.com these days. Very convenient website. Strongly suggest you to go there. And then not just FX, but also all kinds of financial assets. You can just punch in there and then get some, information there. For free, by the way. FX. Nowadays, you talk about fintech, finance plus technology. If you Google search for Revolut, that's an FX related fintech companies in working in Spain or something, and then they are doing this kind of conversion of all across different currencies, like for free or very low cost, right? How would you create this kind of things? You want to do some ventures in fintech? Maybe this one may be an interesting aspect of it. Nowadays you talk about cryptocurrencies, right? FX, not just across different countries' currencies, but also your fiat currency versus cryptocurrencies. That's something you have to think about, right? I think the international finance textbook has to be revised, right? Time and again, right? Keep on updating it because we are living in such a changing, dynamically changing, drastically changing world in terms of finance, right, these days. What do you see? Tesla, Elon Musk. Who let the dogs out? Who? You know this song? Who let the dogs out? Yeah, he was tweeting it about the doggy coin or dodgy coin, all right, whatever. So who let the dogs out? And then once he said that in his tweet, the price of this coin skyrocketed like crazy. And then as soon as this guy said, we have $1.5 billion already purchased in Bitcoin and invested in it, perhaps you will be able to buy Tesla motor using Bitcoin later. Right after that, the price skyrocketed to $57,000. Crazy. My friend told me to buy this, advised me to buy Bitcoin at this point, right? Like 3 to 4 years ago. I should have bought that. Oh God. I missed that, and then I just waited, and then I missed that, and waited, I missed that again. So if you think you missed a chance, you're not alone. I'm here for you. But I'm professor, much more risk averse. I have many reasons to be risk averse. I'm older, okay, 50 years old, okay. You are younger and you're less risk averse. So you may be, right? Might be. I'm not encouraging you to buy this Bitcoin. This is too volatile, right? But we're going to talk about the stability and then the what we should be done about these cryptocurrencies to be recognized as or should be incorporated into transactions like other fiat currencies, right? In this semester. Anyway, why international finance? Yeah, trade finance. I told you about it. Yeah, and then your career aspiration, GBA students. Are you listening to me? Yes. I know so many of you want to work for 수출입은행, right? What is that? Exim Bank, Export Import Bank, right? Foreign students will say like, what is that? Is that such an exciting job? No, it's not exciting at all, like crazy, dull. I have to be upfront about that. Especially if you are very intelligent and then you need a lot of craving for some intellectual stimulus. This is not a job that really gives you that kind of stimulus, but this is the most stable job, risk-free job. Okay, you work until 60 years old, right? In your age, right? That's why so many of your parents force you to get a job over here and take some exam time and again, year after year after year after year, wasting your life. Okay, but as long as you want to work for that, right? Here's a common point. It involves a lot of international finance concepts, right? FX and trade finance. This is it. So that's what I'm trying to say. Now, to be able to cater the needs of global investors, now we are moving on to the investment side of the business, right? Finance. So global investors, asset managers try to manage global diversified portfolio and use various hedging tools. BlackRock, you must be familiar with this one, right? Vanguard, State Street, okay? You must be familiar with these names, big names, as well as ARK Investment. Yeah, this kind of guys, asset managers, right? To work over there, right? You should study international finance. And then recently, how to manage cash among different foreign subsidiaries has been an interesting subject in banking industry as well. And then understanding East Asian companies like Korea, China, Japan, and etc., etc. You need FX understanding because these East Asian countries are heavily export oriented. Okay, global trade, okay, is almost the only way we can survive. Singapore, Korea, Japan, or whatever country. Unfortunately, okay, once the global trade stops, we die. Right? That's it. What do you see over here in your picture? That's a DRAM. Anybody familiar with this DRAM card? Have you ever replaced your computer's DRAM chips? If you say never, but then I strongly suggest you to at least open up your computer and then see the motherboard and then check out the CPU and then check out the memory board like that, RAM board, okay, random access memory. Why? You want to upgrade your RAM from time to time, okay? My computer right now is 64 gigabytes RAM, okay? Why do you need that? Because I need to process a lot of data, okay, in my research. And you will need that kind of higher RAM capacity, even more, 128 gigabytes or something like that. But here's the reason why, another reason. This RAM is Korea's major business. Samsung's breadwinner business is RAM, okay? If you think Samsung, by the way, my cell phone is not Samsung. You see Apple over here, right? Proudly using Apple. Yes. How could you do that? You're an SKKU guy. No, who cares? This. If you believe Samsung's major business is Galaxy, you are wrong, okay? That's not their profit dollar box, right? Their cash cow is RAM. And I purchased a lot of RAM for Samsung, right? So I'm faithful to them in that respect. And then 85% of the sales of Samsung Electronics comes from foreign markets. If they ruin FX risk management, their whole business goes down. Okay? So things are similar if you're trying to analyze East Asian companies, right? Hyundai Motor, whatever, okay? You will need to have solid understanding in FX, okay? That's that. So here we study the determinants of the price of domestic currency in terms of foreign currency. The exchange rate. It shows how currency markets reflect and shape the environment within which corporate wealth maximizing decisions are made. This course is designed for upper division undergraduate students who have good understanding of basic economics, corporate finance, and asset valuation or investment. Okay? Right. Textbook. Yes. 은철수 교수님's book, right? 은철수 교수님. Yeah. International Financial Management. Yes, over here. Okay. 9th edition is up since last year, last fall semester. And last spring, I used the 8th edition version, okay? International Finance. If you use this, it's also okay, okay? But majorly, it's going to be about this. I check out those questions in the book chapter questions. They are largely the same. If there should be some discrepancies, differences, then I will let you know about that so that you will not be disadvantaged simply because you're using this one. Should be all right, okay? You can use either of them, but if I were you, I would use this one, 9th edition. Right. Okay, so I should shut my mouth. Already 20 minutes gone. 은철수 교수님 is our proud professor at Georgia Tech University, one of the few Korean American professors in this major US universities, right? And then proud to learn from him. And he had many years of experience in big Korean corporations and in advising them. So he's the right person to talk to, right? The right person to study from. Okay, his book is here. And then Resnick and Chuluun, right? So they are great guys. So I strongly encourage you to use this textbook. And the next slide, I'm going to next videos, I'm going to talk about the rest of the introduction. So wait for that. See you. Thanks for watching.